Hello everyone and welcome to this video returning once again to Elder Scrolls Legends. This is Bethesda's attempt, or more specifically Direwolf Digital's attempt at creating a Elder Scrolls themed Hearthstone. For all intents and purposes. I've covered this game before on this channel. If you've been a long time subscriber, then you will know that I covered it reasonably extensively, and I did a reasonably popular video on the whole comparison between ranked ladder in Hearthstone and ranked ladder in Elder Scrolls Legends. And in that comparison, I found Legends ranked ladder to just be infinitely better, to be honest. So, what made it better? First off, well, the major thing is something that can be very easily compared to Hearthstone, because Hearthstone has just announced that they're going to add it in the next expansion, whenever that ends up hitting, in sometime in April, I imagine. But so what Hearthstone has announced is that when you hit certain milestones on their ranked ladder, I believe the milestones are 15, 10 and 5, with 20 which existed before this announcement, you can't drop below those milestones if you start to lose games. So essentially it adds a safe zone. If you try out a wacky deck at like rank 5, you can't drop below rank 5. And this is a really good system, it's a great addition, great for Hearthstone, but Elder Scrolls Legends has had this system for, I don't know, however long it's been released. And it's taken Blizzard this long to realise that it's a great idea and that they should probably add it. So that's fantastic for Hearthstone, but it also kind of exonerates the design decisions behind Elder Scrolls Legends. So this decision makes ranked ladder as a thing, climbing to legend if you're into that, or just climbing to a cool rank to get your 3 free monthly card rewards every month. Much easier, much less grindy, and coupled with this, when in Legends, these are things going forwards which Hearthstone has not announced and therefore probably won't have anytime soon, which again just makes this game, in my eyes, in many ways a lot better than Hearthstone in terms of its design. So when the monthly kind of reset hits, which this game does have, similar to Hearthstone again, you actually drop far less ranks when you get reset on the ladder than you do in Hearthstone comparatively. So even though it's slightly difficult to compare the two ranked systems, because Elder Scrolls Legends starts at rank 12, I believe, and then goes up to rank 1, and then past that you get the Legend kind of ranked system. Similar to Hearthstone in many ways, whereas Hearthstone has rank 25 up to 1 and then the Legend rank system above that. In this game, you don't actually drop as far even so. So, comparatively, I would say that rank 5 in Hearthstone can be compared to be around rank 3 in Elder Scrolls Legends, maybe kind of midway through rank 3, almost rank 2-ish. Just because the rank system is just that much more condensed in Legends.
I am a child of darkness.
But, therefore, comparatively, if you got to rank 5, for example, in Hearthstone, and the ladder reset at the end of the month, and you didn't get any further than that, you would end up dropping to, I believe, rank 17, 18, something like that, from what I remember. I might be wrong, but I think it's around there. Whereas in Legends, you will drop far fewer ranks. And again, this change makes the whole climbing the ladder back to Legend, or climbing the ladder to get your free rewards and all that great jazz, just so much easier. You don't have to worry about it, it's much more chilled as an experience, and yeah, honestly, I fully expect Hearthstone will try and do something similar, if not similar to the kind of milestone system that they've just announced, if not just copy it straight from Legends again. And I can't blame them, because the system itself is fantastic, and everyone who plays Legends pretty much comments that, yeah, ranked ladder works fantastically. So, above this, what's also happening that makes Legends better than Hearthstone, in my opinion. Well, the production quality, as a matter of fact, is just a lot better overall. If you look at the board, it's got a lot of the things that Hearthstone added, and this game definitely takes a lot of inspiration from Hearthstone. You've got emotes, so you can right-click on your hero portrait and do some kind of comment in their kind of speaking style. So for my particular person, you will see me use it in the gameplay footage on screen currently. I'll say something very elvish and kind of high and mighty because I'm a high elf, and that's just what their society and the fluff kind of makes them out to be. And that's how I talk, so I'll implore my god for, you know, strength or whatever, and I'll taunt my opponent in some fancy high pants way, and, you know, so on and so forth, as you would expect, pretty much from Hearthstone. Again, fantastic system, there's no reason they shouldn't take inspiration from it, / take it from Hearthstone, because it works, and everyone enjoys it. And if you don't enjoy it, you can also mute your opponent to stop hearing their taunts or whatever. So again, that works fantastically. Similarly, the board is to some degree interactable. Not quite to the degree that Hearthstone's boards are, with all the basically toys around the edge of the board for you to mess with if your opponent's taking their sweet time on their turn. But you can still mess around, you can do the equivalent of picking up the dust on the board, which is Hearthstone's thing. In this game, you can pick at you can just see there, you just tap on the board, and it's like these eldritch runes start to glow where you're tapping, and you can just mess around with that. That's fantastic. And graphically, the game is great, and the artwork on the cards is gorgeous. Yeah, it's really cool. The effects are fancy. You see, you just played a legendary card, and it kind of glowed and sparked as it hit the board. And naturally, there are gold and shiny cards, again, as you would expect. A very standard thing for CCGs, TCGs, and pretty much every card game. So, what else does it do that makes me think that Legends is just a better game overall than Hearthstone? Well, the tutorial system is just fantastic. If you've played Hearthstone's tutorial system, I do understand that it's been improved recently, semi-recently, within the last year, maybe. It's not the best, it's okay, and the mage talks to different characters, kind of fights away, unlocks some cards. It's okay, but it's fairly short. It does do a decent job of teaching you the mechanics, but in comparison, in this game, you just saw a shiny card, by the way, on screen. And I think I highlight that. Yeah, there you go. They look very nice indeed. Unfortunately, I don't have many of them, but whatever. I'm not loaded with cash. But yeah, the tutorial system in this game is a fully fledged out single-player experience, really. Comparing it to the adventures that Hearthstone is now no longer going to do, but have done in the past, it's similar to those, except quite a bit longer, with many chapters. I think it's around 20 chapters of a single-player experience, each mission being a battle against an AI opponent with different rules to kind of teach you different mechanics. And with every win you get free cards, and your character levels up, and eventually there's a boss fight right at the end where you get powerful legendary cards as rewards. And yeah, it's a fantastic tutorial and single player experience, and by the time you've finished it, you've got a ton of free, in-game currency and cards to kind of mess around with and, further experience the game with, which, again, compared to Hearthstone's tutorial system, is just straight up better. So why am I exactly covering this game again? As I did mention, I have covered it in the past, and it kind of was awesome in the past, but I was distracted with new games coming out, and development on this game was kind of slow at the time. But yeah, why have I returned to it? Well, it appears that sometime in the next few weeks, sometime in March apparently, we will see some big announcement for this game. If you don't know, it's currently in open beta, and therefore, really, everyone's waiting for it to hit full release, as that's when, we're hoping, The full kind of might of a AAA publisher will hit the kind of marketing. Floods of new players will join the game, experience the epic single-player mode, hopefully really have a great time, and then start investing in it, start playing it, fill the ladder, and yeah, kind of revive it from its slumber, which is kind of the state it's in at the moment. It's got a fairly dedicated fan base, and the player count is fairly good. You can definitely get games consistently on ladder. But regardless, as you can see on screen, I'm currently playing against a rank 6 player as a rank 9 player myself. Now that's quite probably an indication that there aren't enough people at rank 9s, 8s and 7 to find to match me up against, which, yeah, again, is indicative of a declining player base. But it is an open beta, so the announcement that will be coming up in March hopefully is big enough to drag people in who have previously tried it out, maybe encourage people to try it out in open beta whilst it's still in there, and yeah, pretty much start the hype for the full release and get people excited. I will say that I feel like they could have timed this a bit better, because if you don't know, in Hearthstone, essentially the market dominator at the moment. You can't underestimate the power that Hearthstone and Blizzard have over the online kind of CCG, TCG genre. But yeah, Hearthstone, if you don't know, they're going to be releasing a fully fledged expansion fairly soon, essentially in kind of just post-March, i.e. when the big changes to this Legends will probably happen, I imagine. And so Legends is going to have to compete with Hearthstone at the time which it will be essentially experiencing a huge influx of players playing it again. So what happens in Hearthstone is that between expansions, the community essentially min-maxes a few decks, which typically end up dominating the scene, as you would kind of expect. The community typically gets extremely bored of them, unless it's a really cool expansion, but we've somehow dodged a lot of those so far. And yeah, the community gets riled up, they kind of harangue Blizzard, you know, why aren't you doing this, why aren't you nerfing this card, why aren't you changing ladder, etc, etc. And essentially it's quite negative for some time in terms of kind of community feedback. But this all goes 100% the other direction when an expansion hits, because Hearthstone's expansions are such big deals at this point that the community just gets so hyped, they kind of just fixate on every card preview that's teased, and yeah, essentially the community just topsy-turvies and loves the game again. So what does that mean for Legends? Well, it means that if Legends decides to release fully any time around the time of an expansion for Hearthstone, they will be having a much harder time of it than if they choose to release sometime later this year between expansions. Preferably when the community in Hearthstone is getting all tired of, you know, whatever the Team 5 team are doing in Hearthstone. Typically they take a long time to make changes to the game. I mean, it took them, what, 2 years to implement more deck slots, which you'd think would be an easy thing, and it's taken them this long to improve ladder. So yeah, there's a really high chance that if after this expansion, the Hearthstone community will get pissed again. Therefore, you could argue that maybe this game should wait for that expansion kind of hype to die down again. But fair play, if they want to challenge Hearthstone full on, you know, face to face, and not be too sneaky about it, then yeah, you know what, fair play. The game Hearthstone, Elder Scrolls Legends is a great game. The mechanics are fantastic, the production quality is just better than Hearthstone in every way, I would say. And yeah, there's only a few criticisms I have of this game. generally it's more expensive to make the top tier control decks in this game than it is in Hearthstone, because the deck sizes are 50. Typically, you can go above that, but your deck becomes more inconsistent the more cards you include in it, so obviously it's best to stick to the kind of minimum 50 card limit for your deck. And what this means is that decks being bigger in Legends, it means that you need more cards full stop, which means that you need more legendary cards full stop, because they typically have the most powerful and unique effects, which is what control decks want, because these powerful effects can be used to do powerful things and win the game from them. And another thing that this game does, which kind of increases the cost for the player if they want to play top tier control decks, is a lot of the legendaries in this game are non-unique legendaries. So unlike in Hearthstone, where every legendary you can only run one copy of in your deck, in this game there are a suite of unique legendaries who are named characters in the lore, in the Elder Scrolls lore, who you can only run one of. So you just see on screen, my opponent played Odahviing, a massive dragon from lore, which you can only play one copy of. But if you look to his left, that glowy blue kind of vampire dude, is it Doomcrag Vampire? It might be. That might be the name of it, but that's a non-unique legendary, and there are many of those legendaries in this game. And those legendaries you can run 3 copies of. So naturally, legendaries costing the most and often having the most powerful effects, this means you're going to be spending either a lot of money, a lot of dust, or a lot of time in arena farming packs. So that could be a point against this game compared to Hearthstone, but overall the package is fantastic. The single player tutorial experience is just infinitely better. The gameplay is fun, there's tons of interesting cards to kind of craft. The crafting system is pretty much identical to Hearthstone's, by the way. So you can see on screen, you just open a pack, it's got that really cool kind of fancy explosion of cards, and depending on the rarity of the card, it glows a different colour, which is all exciting. People love that. Just look at all the Hearthstone packing videos at times of new expansions. That's a thing which people apparently love. So that's in the game as well. So you got great single player, great production value, pack opening. The ranked system is straight up better than Hearthstone's in every way. And yeah, it's got the backing of Bethesda behind it, you would think, as well as all the Bethesda lore as well. I haven't even touched on the lore. You know how big Skyrim was and how long that lasted on PC specifically, with the mod community going crazy over it. And you can look on screen now, there's just so many cool cards, like Goldbrand, with like really powerful effects, and Odahviing, just a dragon that destroys the enemy's board. Very similar to Deathwing if you want a direct comparison, except without the downside and with a weaker board clear effect overall. So yeah, this game has a ton going for it, and I really do hope that when it does eventually release, that it manages to get a decent enough crowd to kind of continue on for a good few years to come, as it certainly does a lot right, and I do believe it deserves its own place in the market, as a direct Hearthstone competitor. So that's pretty much my thoughts for this video. Essentially, times are a-changing for Legends, and release might happen soon. Maybe. I'm fairly hyped for that because this game is fantastic. And yeah, here's hoping that it kind of survives its release, that it's stable. I will say as well, the game is entirely stable in every way, and buying packs works a-okay fine. It's completely safe. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. As always, guys, thank you for watching. I do appreciate the views. I hope this was vaguely informative and or entertaining. And yeah, I will see you, as always, in the next video. Ta-ta.